Hello guys, it's me, Megan Wessels, aka the FanFic Critic, bringing you a commentary on episode 120 of FanFic Critic. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm speaking in the British accent, aka Susan's voice. Well, I figured I would do it just for laughs, and besides I need to practice, touch up, bit of fun. Yes, this episode was the most anticipated episode of FanFic Critic I ever did, mainly because it had a very special effect used, and the special effect was a split screen which showed the FanFic Critic and Susan sitting side by side for a good chunk of the episode. Now, believe it or not, there are some people out there who think that Susan and the FanFic Critic are two different people. There's some people who actually thought that we were twin sisters. The thing is, it's both me. You guys know it's me doing the British accent right now. And right now I'm speaking in my normal voice just to clarify with you guys that this is me. Thing is, I play both Susan and the FanFic Critic. So let's get back to the British voice for fun. So this was a pretty big deal episode because they're sitting side by side. And one of the reasons why it took so long to edit was mainly because I was not very familiar with Adobe Premiere Elements given to me by Morgan Ledger, and it took me some time to figure out how to work it. You see, most of the edits were made in Windows Movie Maker, and I initially did drafts in Windows Movie Maker just by making new drafts with every edit with the time I did. But unfortunately, with that method, the video quality got worse and worse. So I found out that in Windows Movie Maker you can, save the file, and so that's how I initially ended up doing it. I'd make edits, save the file, then publish it, then put it in Adobe Premiere and see how the two would sync, and it didn't sync. I mean, it's hard to explain. The thing is, you guys probably noticed for a good chunk of the episode that, there was points where either Susan or the FanFic Critic would look awfully still. Some people say, "Oh, what do you do, freeze the frame? It's quite obvious," but no, that's not what I did. I just slowed it down. I would slow it down at a part where they were either one or the other was not moving much, and I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have done it where they were moving, but then again, it would have been more obvious, because then they would have been moving frame by frame. It wouldn't have been that good. I mean, the episode's going to have its flaws either way, which is quite the shame, but it was a pain in the butt to edit. I believe I aired episode 119 back in, April or something. No, not in April. I aired it... I'd have to look at the calendar, but there was a huge gap between episodes 119 and episodes 120, mainly because of the editing. The end result, though, I thought was pretty decent. I mean, yes, there were flaws. I mean, the part where, it looked like one of them was staying way too still. Like here, for instance, Susan's a little too still, but not too bad. I didn't have to do it too bad in the beginning. But the critic looks kind of frozen. And then you can clearly tell, and this is because of my lovely video conversion software, SoThink Media, you can see it down at the bottom. Because of how they do the split screen and stuff, you can clearly see the top and bottom bars, and Susan's side is a lot lighter than the FanFic Critic side when it comes to the black bars, but that's because I had to mess around with the lighting to make sure that you couldn't see the split screen. Now, I probably should have found a way to try to edit it so you couldn't see the stupid black bar at all, but I didn't want to risk that because I didn't want to risk the video quality becoming awful if I did that. So this episode was a big pain in the ass to do. It really was. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. The thing is, my friend Archangel Assassin, aka Liz, she would sit in place with the two. Like, for the FanFic Critic footage, instead of Susan, Archangel Assassin would be there, and vice versa. She pretty much was there so I would have an idea where Susan or the FanFic Critic was. And it came in handy, I will admit, and I really want to thank her for putting up with that, because that must have been incredibly boring, especially seeing we filmed this footage twice. If you notice the beginning bits, right before I do the split screen, the fanfic critic and Susan look a tad different. Well, that was footage from the original day we had filmed. And the alternate ending to this episode, which was shown in the behind-the-scenes thing, that was from the original day we had filmed. I ended up getting rid of that footage because, I know this was before I realized there was nothing I could really do about the timing unless I edited it myself, but I tried to realize that the timing was off, and I thought, oh, if I refilmed it and added more pauses with the timing, I can have it flawless, but it turns out it wasn't the case, so I probably should have deleted that footage, because I think it kind of turned out better anyway, but it's gone now, I can't show it to you. But we had to film it twice. And for Liz, it was probably a pain in the butt, especially she was just sitting there the entire time. I mean, at least she had her DS to play with, but still. Could have been a pain. But I want to thank her again for her cooperation. And excuse me if I keep on going off track. That's how I tend to do when I'm in these commentaries, rambling on. I mean, I thought I did pretty well with the interaction, and this was the first episode of FanFic Critic I ever used a script for. Most of the time I do improv. And I will give you guys a little heads up now. There is a bit of a split screen in episode 140. There's actually 2 instances where I use the split screen, and both of those times were improv. But it wasn't something as major as this. It wasn't an entire episode of split screen. And for the Comics Next Challenge 2, originally I was thinking about introducing the split screen in that, but I decided not to because I thought it would have... I wanted to do a natural reaction. That's the main purpose of... Oh, jeez, that was scary. Sorry, that screenshot kind of got me off track. Okay, what was I talking about? Oh, yes. Initially, there was going to be a split screen in the second Comics Next Challenge, but a lot of my reviews are natural reactions to fanfics. I mean, once in a while I'll have to redo a review because I didn't like how I read it, but for the most case, it's a natural reaction. And Ringmaster J5, he is a real person, by the way. He is actually setting up these challenges for me. He told me when he first introduced the challenges to me that he wanted to see my natural reaction. And I explained to him when we were filming the second Comics Next Challenge that I wasn't going to do the split screen because I explained to him I would have to script it out if I was going to do an entire episode with the fanfic critic and Susan sitting side by side reading these fanfics. So he understood. This episode, though, was a bit different because there was no way I would be able to do this all improv. I mean, it would have been impossible. It really would have been. And, the thing is, I read this fanfic for myself before I did the review. The author, Master Maritsu, aka Sly Copper 23, he knew I was going to review this fanfic, and I even showed him the script of this episode before I filmed it, so he knew what I was going to say about it. And, he wrote this fanfic more as a joke in a sense. It was supposed to be kind of like a joke, because he thought it'd be interesting to see if they were a slash couple, and he thought it'd be interesting to see how the fanfic critic and Susan would react to it, so, you know, I didn't see the harm in it. And seeing to me the fanfic critic and Susan are fictional characters in my book, I don't really mind that there's fanfics about them. Yes, it is a little weird that someone would write a slash fic about them, but hey, they are fictional characters, so I guess it's okay, just don't have it be about real people. Real people would be if you wrote a fanfic about me, as in, you know, Megan Wessels. Like that person who wrote that fanfic about the fanfiction critic and I, Linny and Megan being lesbians. Not sure if you guys heard about that one. That fanfic ended up getting reported and removed from DeviantArt, thankfully, but that is an example of what not to do. You don't do stuff like that. So, yeah. The author, Master Maritsu, aka SlyCopper23 on fanfiction.net, he knew I was going to review this fanfic, and he was excited about it.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Now, I do hope that he took the criticism that was given. I mean, the criticism I gave from both the fanfic critic and Susan is legit. I mean, the story did kind of go all over the place. And I do recall that I edited some of it for him before, you know, I made the episode, like little things, like with the grammar and stuff, because he had asked me to. I was doing him a favor, just quickly looking over to make sure that there wasn't anything glaringly off about it, and I guess some of the issues in this story were kind of my fault, because I probably should have found them out more. But then again, it's not my story, it was his story. So, and the thing about reading a fanfic out loud is that you tend to notice mistakes more than if you're reading it in your mind. That's why I like reading the fanfic out loud. And even when you read it out loud, you miss something sometimes, but I think I tend to find mistakes more when I read them out loud, and maybe I should have done that. Yeah. The thing is, for Season 8 of FanFic Critic coming up, I'm going to be using a different conversion software to convert my videos. So hopefully we will not have this little so think thing at the bottom. Hopefully the video will actually be full letterbox, and even if it's not full letterbox, you won't have to worry about these weird bars on the side and whatnot. Because, you know, the video actually does look quite nice, but it has to be squished down because of the conversion software I have. Because Windows Movie Maker is anal and will not use MP4 files. And as for Adobe Premiere, because it's an old version, it's so freaking slow and glitchy, there's no point in using it. And besides, it completely ruins the video, a high-def video, after you put it in there. It really does. Which kind of stinks. I need to get a new editing software. But for now, I can manage with using Adobe Premiere and Windows Movie Maker. And I do apologize if I'm not really talking much about the episode, so let's get back to the episode. Yes, it seems like the two are still reading the fanfic. It's not really much in the actual reading of the fanfic that you notice that the critic or Susan are being too still. It's during their rants, like when... especially during the fanfic critic's rant. If you look at Susan, a good chunk of the time she is so bloody still, it's not even funny. And I do apologize for that, I really do. If I ever do an episode like that again, I think I'm going to do it in a where I record myself reading the entire story, just as me. And then what I think I'll do is that I'll have, like, it's hard to explain how I'll do it. Or maybe I'll have it be a deal that, like, say when I'm filming the fanfic critic rolls, I have my reading of the fanfic critic's lines muted while she's reading, and then when Susan starts to read, I will play that or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to do a review like this again, because it was just very hard to do, and it took so long. But I'm hoping that if I ever do this again, it won't take as long, because now I know what to do and what not to do. I'm not sure if I will, though. I mean, part of me wants to, because I like the fanfic critic and Susan. I think they are both good at critiquing fanfics. I mean, Susan is kind of clumsy at it in a sense, but it is funny to see her own opinion. And just how they reacted to each other, this was quite fun. I mean, at first they were kind of argue with each other because, you know, they both found out someone decided to write a fanfic about us shagging each other. So, but I thought the human stuff interacted well. And just the look on Susan's face here is funny. The way she looks at the camera, she has this, like, what the fuck look on her face.
Are you seriously implying to me?
Of course, this bit here, she's looking a little too still, but...
about the sexually hinted dream she had about her? I don't think so. Susan was blushing heavily.
I noticed that I kind of have them kind of over-talk each other at points. And I was thinking about fixing that, but, you know, when I showed my friend Archangel Assassin, I had her watch this and stuff, I think, before I edited, she said it worked, because in reality, people do kind of over-talk each other. So, and it wasn't too often either.
I might have needed this day off instead. Thanks a lot, Susan.
I mean, this fanfic, it wasn't horrible. It really wasn't. I mean, it was kind of cute. It's just kind of weird because, you know, it's fanfic critic and Susan. And even though I do say they are fictional characters, they are played by me. And it's just kind of weird trying to picture it because I don't know, I just picture two, like, me splitting, like, two of me making out. It's just kind of, but... I don't know.
I saw only the first few episodes.
I don't know. I mean, this fanfic, at least it wasn't a deal where they had like a graphic sex scene. I mean, the closest thing hinted to a sex scene would probably have to be the dream the fanfic critic had with Susan saying, "Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of everything." And by the way, when someone says that to you, and if they're in love with you, that pretty much hints that they're going to have sex with you. So we're assuming that's what happened in the dream. But at least the author didn't have it visualized. But this fanfic is still not that bad for a slash fic. I mean, it was a decent, cute story. It had inconsistencies. It's nothing like that bloody awful Critic Mania fanfic. Yes, Critic Mania. You're probably wondering what that is. Well, it was a fanfic sent to me recently. I'm not going to review it on my show. But it's an obvious troll fic by someone who I swear is inspired by the author of Immortal and I Kill Faggots If They Had a Baby Together. And it's a fanfic that has myself, aka the FanFic Critic, Susan, a fanfiction critic, Bunny Munchies, Theatre Anthem, PJ Bottoms, Sonic Guru, who else? And a couple other YouTubers. And it's this really awful slash fic. I think the person who wrote it was trying to get a reaction from us all. I mean, a couple of the other people who I told them about, they did a video about it. I gave the fanfic a written review, but I pretty much told them I'm not reviewing this on my show. So, anyway, that fanfic was really stupid and awful. They had 2 chapters to it, and ever since they got a lashing in the reviews, they haven't updated it. And, yeah. But, like I said before, at least this fanfic here was not like that. This was a legit fanfic. This wasn't like some stupid troll fic or anything. It was a legit fanfic. And the author even admitted that it wasn't supposed to be taken seriously. It was his first time writing slash, and he just wanted to have fun with it. And I'm glad that you guys weren't, like, vicious to him when you left comments and stuff. I mean, you know, the author himself, he has written some decent fanfics. He does need to touch up on his grammar and stuff, but, you know, they're pretty decent. Now, I don't understand about Adobe Premiere with its split screen. Why is the side that Susan's on flashing? And it's not just with this video either. Other times I've seen the split screen, there's always the right side flashing like that. And I can't get rid of it. Okay, that bit right there was supposed to be Susan laughing, but it didn't really come across the way it sounded like she had something caught in her throat. Yes, okay then.
Well, if you're expecting this reaction, then why did you ask it in the first place? Are you fucking insane?
I noticed something. The FanFic Critic's voice is more high-pitched, and Susan's is more deep. When I speak in person, I'd say my voice is more like Susan's voice in a sense, except obviously not British. But I tend to speak in a kind of deep voice. Sometimes I speak in a more high pitch. I think it depends. Like if I just wake up in the morning, oh my god, my voice is so freaking deep when I first wake up. Mainly because I'm like, wake up, it's like, yeah, piss off, leave me alone, tired. Yeah, pretty much.
You have to relax, Meg. Susan said softly.
And yes, the FanFic Critic and Susan are both wearing the same white shirt. I was incredibly lazy. Well, it wasn't really like I was lazy. The thing is, when I did the transitions, I filmed like both of these like back to back with each other. I believe I filmed Susan's bits first, and I didn't want the camera to shift when I did the transition, so to minimize that risk, I just took off the I just put on the critic's jacket, put on my glasses, and filmed it like that. I mean, it's enough of a difference where you might not notice, but if you're someone who is very keen about the outfit that the critic wears, you will know that Susan's wearing the same white shirt. Now, I do apologize. I tend to try to be a little more creative. I mean, when I did the Breaking Point short film, I filmed most of the FanFic Critic stuff first for that. Had the hair up and stuff, and then after I did all that, I changed into Susan's outfit, took my hair down. So Although I think I filmed some of the FanFic Critic bits after the Susan bits for that, but it wasn't too bad. All I had to do was put my hair back up and change the outfit again, and voila.
The FFC's 2020 vision notices the small
Yeah, the 2020 vision, I don't know what he meant by that because I wear glasses. And I wear them in real life too, they aren't just for show, I do need them. So I don't know why he put down 2020 vision, because I don't have 2020 vision, I can assure you. I do like that when they both did the head poem, that was funny. Now this part of the fanfic, I have to admit, was probably the most confusing bit. Because the FanFic Critic reacts badly to Susan proposing to her. She slaps her across the face, and then when Susan says, "Oh, I got you a Pokemon ring," all of a sudden the FanFic Critic is lying on top of her and saying, "Oh, I love you too," and starts making out with her. And reading it over and over again, it's like, well, that didn't make any sense. I mean, why is she bipolar? Oh god, the look on the FanFic Critic's face here is so freaking funny. Oh jeez. I just laughed so hard when I was editing this and watching it back, and just the timing of it. I mean, I didn't even mean for the timing to be like that, but the second Susan says, "Oh, and she kissed her back," the look, her eyebrows, just the way they raised, were so freaking funny.
It's over.
And this is the most notable bit of the episode where you can definitely tell I had to do some edits to make sure that the FanFic Critic could do her rant without being interrupted by Susan. Susan, okay, she looks like she's frozen. Maybe not necessarily here, because you can tell that I didn't freeze it because she's breathing fine. But right now, she's kind of frozen. It's like a frozen time, yes, yeah. I think if I do a FanFic Critic fuck-up episode, I think I'll poke fun at this by having one of the characters sitting next to them, and while one's talking, the other one's like frozen. Then they'll slowly turn and look at them frozen. I might have it be something funny where it's like normal me and the FanFic Critic, and the FanFic Critic's looking all crazy. She picks up a razor, freezes, turns and looks at, me, freezes, looks like she's about to kill him, and like my character will turn and say, "What the bloody hell are you doing?" And, yeah, I don't know if I'll do that though. It'll be funny.
Secondly, Susan and I, we are related to each other. We are
It is true that there's some people out there who, like, might marry their cousins. And the fact that Susan and the FanFic Critic are third cousins, I guess it wouldn't be too bad. They were different sexes, first of all, not look exactly alike, but I guess it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, I do know someone who, is married to their cousin, and personally I don't have an issue with that. What would gross me out would be siblings. And the point I was trying to make known here is that the FanFic Critic and Susan see each other as siblings. They think of each other like sisters, so that's why it's grossing them out that someone would say, "Hey, let's write a fanfic about them being lovers," because they see each other as siblings. And to them, that's just, it just kind of weirds them out. Now, this part of the review, the two of them doing their rants, this part was not scripted. This was this part and the ending bit were the only parts of the review that were not scripted. The beginning and the review were. So that's why I had to do major edits to make sure that these guys wouldn't overlap each other. And it's also the reason why the two might seem to kind of repeat what the other says, because I didn't script it, I just improv'd it, and then I, filmed the other bit and then improv that. So, yeah.
Susan and I are the main characters in this.
I had fun with this, though. I mean, although it was a pain in the butt to film, a pain in the butt to edit, and a big headache for you fans, I bet, waiting for it to finally air, it was worth it, I think. It was a good way to end Season 6. I mean, Season 6 was pretty much a new beginning for FanFic Critic. Seeing the seasons prior to it, Season 5 downwards, were all the webcam era, as I like to call it, with the grainy picture, the weird humming noise.
the ending?
limited camera angles because it was on a webcam and such. So, you know, season 6 was the start of something new, so it needed to have a decent season ending, and I thought this was a great way to end it.
And what was with the bipolarness with my character?
I'm hoping that episode 140 will blow this episode out of the water. I mean, when it comes to the length of the episode, it definitely will, because this episode was like 35 minutes long, and episode 140 is like 2 hours and 5 minutes long in total. So that alone will make it much longer at least. And hopefully you guys will like it. So now we're on to Susan's bit of her thoughts of it, which are pretty much like the fanfic critics, except not as over the top, obviously, because Susan's she's more laid back when it comes to her opinion. She has her moments where she might kind of explode a little, like when she decided to review that NecoNet story. Now, I will have to tell you about those NecoNet stories, The Final Nerve and Addiction to the Problem. It turns out that those were an April Fool's joke by one of my viewers. He ended up telling me this on a Skype chat and said, "Oh, I'm sorry if I offended you with those stories," but I said it was fine. So, those weren't meant to be taken seriously, but still it was, at the time when I did the 2 videos about them, like Susan's review and then the FanFic Critic's review of Addiction to the Problem, it was fun. I mean, it kind of addressed things like how Susan reacted to having a fanfic written about her being a violent psychopath, and how the critic reacted to her character in Addiction to the Problem being portrayed as like a weak crybaby and stuff. So that was fun. It was fun to do. Oh, and I apologize if I'm annoying you with a British accent. I probably should have stopped speaking in it, but when I start speaking in it, and I'm speaking it for a while, I can't get out of it. Well, I can if I wanted to, but I don't feel like it. And I did most of the commentary in it, so I might as well continue. And besides, Susan's speaking, she has a British accent, so might as well continue with it. Now, you kind of notice the fanfic critic is kind of still here too. I mean, it's not stopped. The clip is still going. It's just slowed down incredibly. And I do apologize how glaring it was. I really do. I mean, I wanted this episode to be perfect. I wanted it to be perfect. It didn't turn out to be perfect. But most of you guys did like it, and that's what matters. You know, as long as the fans like it, that should be what matters. And this episode gave me an idea of what to do in the future if I ever decide to do something with the split screen again with the 2 of them.
So maybe you could just remove us from it and just insert other characters and then repost it. I wouldn't have a problem with that, but you're probably not going to do that. But in the future...
And I think I had both of the rants be like a good 2 to 4 minutes long. I have to admit, the fanfic critic looks really bored. She's like, see, they're like, okay, is this over with? Yeah, okay, yeah.
I just can't believe you would write something like this. I really can't. I mean, I suppose it could have been a lot worse, but still.
This must have been pretty awkward for Liz for these 2 parts, because without the Susan clip here, it's just, you know, myself and Liz just sitting there like, okay, There's a couple times where he was glancing up like, okay, what should we do next? And yeah. So, the rant is over for both of them. And then we go into the ending, which was quite entertaining, I will admit. Quite fun. After a short trip downstairs. Yes, it's proven. The fanfic critic and Susan like to drink alcohol in the middle of the afternoon. Well, I think it might have been evening, but this was filmed, like, in April, so... Oh, this was filmed a while ago. It's April, and it's almost October, so, you know. Filmed 5 months ago. Wow. Time sure does fly. The summer goes by quickly. And just to let you know, that both of those short glasses is the same glass melody. They were empty. I didn't actually drink any alcohol.
Okay, to begin an fanfic.
Yeah, so decide to rip off SpongeBob here by doing the narrator voice. And I had so much fun with this, especially with Susan, because you don't tend to see Susan acting goofy and stuff, so it was great having her be drunk, because it was just fun, because her character's normally so quiet and stuff, and then you see her drunk and she's just as loony as the fanfic critic when she's drunk. I tried to have her act a bit like Jack Sparrow a little bit, but I don't know if I pulled it off that well. I don't think it came across that way, but initially that was what I was going for. This part was funny. Look on her face, and then Susan just completely glazes over that. And that right there with me laughing, that was my reaction to what I just said. It's like, oh, do you have something you want to tell me? I'm surprised that no one has done a fanfic with one woman getting another woman pregnant. I think most fanfics have been mpreg fanfics. I don't think I've read one where they have two women getting each other pregnant. But just because I said that, now there's going to be a bunch of them popping up. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Master Maritsu, aka Slycopa23, he won't be writing a sequel to this fanfic, so you don't have to worry about that. I was just having the fanfic critic and Susan say, well, what if he wrote a sequel just for fun? But he probably won't. Oh, this part was funny. Oh, well, because you wear a suit, you would be the man. And the fanfic critic brings up a good point here, because if you do read the fanfic, Susan did come across as the man. I mean, she wasn't like acting masculine, but how it was portrayed, like she was the one coming on to the critic and whatnot, and she was coming across as all dominant and stuff. Yeah, that's Archangel Assassin's hand that Susan's grabbing, actually not mine. I just had her put on the jacket. A lot of fun though. That I messed up on. I mean, Susan threw the hand away, so I should have had... I don't know, I probably should have done something where she was saying, oh, you can have your hand back, and not throw it, but oh well.
Okay. I just want to lie on the floor because it's comfortable. Oh, the floor sounds very comfortable. I think I'll go on the floor.
And right here's the best line of the entire thing.
I think I broke my back. Oh, the floor so
This part I thought kind of dragged a little too long. I think I could have done without the bit with them lying on the floor. Originally there was more dialogue between the two of them, but it didn't really match up. It didn't, so that's why this was cut short. And thinking about it, I probably could have gotten rid of the bits with them on the floor. Probably should have just had it be end with Sis saying, I think I broke my back, and then say later on, and then show the bit with them in the living room, but I don't know, I mean, whatever you guys think. If you like it like this, then that's fine. And yes, the fanfic critic is not wearing her glasses here. That was a fuck up on my part, but you can assume that maybe the glasses fell off. I don't know, I think I'll mention this in the fuck up episode. There's going to be a few things from this episode that will be mentioned in the fuck up episode.
I know, it's so very comfortable. I could lie here all day too.
There'll be the camera angle issue, the frozen counterpart issue, and then the fact that the fanfic critic is not wearing her glasses, and this bit following morning. But then when you see her in the living room, she's wearing them again, see? Yeah, for this bit, Archangel Assassin just held the camera. That's why it's a little wobbly, but she does a really good job holding it still.
How many did we have? I believe we had 10.
I like the look on her face there. I believe we had 10. Although in reality, they would have been passed out before they could even get to shot glass number 10. Especially seeing I had it say, oh, well, they never drank like this before, so that was a bit inconsistent. But, you know, it's a show. You're not supposed to take it entirely seriously. Had a lot of fun, though. Had a lot of fun having both of them be drunk, and then this whole bit here with them kind of talking about the fanfic. It's like, oh, I feel like shit, and I still remember that stupid fanfic. So overall, this episode was fun to make, pain in the butt, but it was fun to make. And I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary I did. It's probably not the best commentary, but then again, I don't do commentaries often. I don't script my commentaries, and yes, I apologize if the commentary sucked. Okay then, I hope you guys look forward to episode 140. I'm hoping it'll blow this episode out of the water, and if it doesn't, well then it doesn't. So, I'll see you all later. Episode 140 will air tomorrow evening. Until then, I'm out.